Hello, everyone. Hi, Shirley. How are you? So glad to see you. Welcome to Monday night. If you can hear me okay. It's Monday. Show of hands. Who else here not a big fan of Mondays? Just another manic Monday. We are totally going to be singing that, pretty sure, every week. Okay. So let's give everybody a minute. Hello, my friend Walter. Hello, my friend Kelly. Hi, Karen. All right. So, couple of things, couple of housekeeping bits and pieces here. Our products I'm using tonight, Christopher was super kind enough to bundle all together. Isn't that awesome? And so if you go over to Brutus Monroe's website, you will find all the pretty things we're going to play with tonight all ready and bundled together, which is so cool. Okay, so we are going to be using that Night Out 3.5 by 8. So it's Slimline paper pad. I got this paper pad and have not used it, not even once. I honestly was a little intimidated by it. I'll be frank. I'll be honest. I love it, but I was a little intimidated by it. So if you're like me and you also purchased it and you also were a little intimidated by it, we're going to play with it tonight. Yes. Hello, Lori. Hello, Kate. Hello, Penny. Jamie, I agree. Happy Monday. Now that the workday is over and we don't have to do that anymore. Correct. It's time to grab a cup of your favorite beverage and we're going to get right into creating. We're going to be playing with lots of embossing powders. I am a messy embossing powder woman. I will tell you that right now. We're going to make a mess, and that is a-okay because I can clean it up afterwards. So part of the bundle is Gilded, Opening Night, and Curtain Call embossing powder. We're going to use all 3 of them today. Another part of that fun bundle is the Marquee Sentiments. I love this stamp set because it includes an alphabet, which means you can customize anything you want to say on a card. You can customize it with this alphabet, which is awesome. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and prepped and made a Slimline card base for us. I have my heat tool right here, and we're going to start by prepping the paper so that we get embossing powder where we want embossing powder, and we don't get embossing powder where we don't want embossing powder. Part of tonight's bundle is a magic powder tool, which is quite necessary. I don't have a magic powder tool. I have this old lovely powder tool of some sort that you can see sprays powder everywhere. Don't mind me. Slowly but surely I will upgrade all of the fun things. I finally got a stabby tool, so that's good, right? Paper from Brutus Monroe, this glossy paper, we need this powder tool because everything and anything wants to stick to it. So we're going to start by just coating this paper with all of the powder we can. Yay! Yes, there's the stabby tool. We're going to use our stabby tool tonight too. Okay. So lots and lots and lots of powder. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to talk about layering embossing powders and how we can layer one color on top of another color and create something unique and different. So in my craft room, I keep two embossing inks, two clear embossing inks. I have one, now if you look, you can tell. I have one that is more pristine, more square, and I have one that kind of looks like someone ate it. That's okay. We're going to use the one that looks like someone ate it because it is well loved and well used. And this is what happens when you do embossing ink direct to paper on a regular basis, which sadly I am so guilty of. My friend Alex is here. Hi, Melissa. So what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and I want to ink up all four of the edges of the pattern paper. I want to get this. Oh, before I do that, I forgot a step. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hi, Susan. I am so excited you are here for Monday Night Live, too. So I want to trim this down because right now, these papers are exactly big enough for the front of a slimline card. I like a little border myself. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit. There's no measuring here. It might be like 1/8 of an inch-ish. And I'm just going to hack off. Take just a sliver, just a slight sliver off the bottom and one side of the pattern paper. And then I get a nice border, a nice thin white border, which suits me and what I like much more. Let me just make sure I've got this nice and straight. There we go. Okay. Yes. Alex asks, is the chewed up embossing pad specifically for edge treatment? Indeed, it is. That is its sole purpose in my craft room. I'm going to take a little bit off from here at the bottom. Okay, there we go. That's going to give us more of a white border that I'm looking for. Now we're going to take the chewed up embossing pad that is just for edges, but first we're going to go ahead and re-powder. More powder, the merrier. I want to get a little bit into this pattern paper. So I'm going to take my ink, put it at a pretty solid angle there, and I'm going to smush it along the edge. See there? I'm putting a pretty wide and lovely inked edge around this whole paper. This is a piece of just copy paper from my copier, from my printer. I'm going to use the Curtain Call embossing powder. This is a gorgeous, like pretty orangey red gold. It's lovely. I'm going to go ahead and coat the edges with it. And it's going to cover up a little bit of the pattern and all of that. And that is okay. I want it to come in a little bit. Now, if there are any edges that you don't particularly like I for sure see one that I am not a fan of. I have off to the side 2 paintbrushes. Cheap, inexpensive, just whatever paintbrushes. I'm going to use them to kind of manipulate some of these areas, but I'm just not a fan of that embossing line. Just swish away the parts I'm just not real keen on, things I'm not enjoying. Random pieces of glitter that, you know, probably shouldn't be where they are and have somehow ended up there. Embossing is not an exact, heat embossing is not an exact science ever, but we're gonna try a little bit. Okay, so I like the way that that looks. I am ready to go ahead and hit it with the heat. Now I'm pushing all of the embossing powder up here because you know what? I can grab that with my little dust buster later. But I don't want it to melt onto my white glass mat because that is a pain to clean up, let me tell you. All right, I'm going to go ahead, turn on my heat tool, let it heat up just a couple minutes, less than a minute, and then we're gonna melt all this melty goodness. Okay, ready? Say it with me now. Ooh, gorgeous. Put it up here so you can get a good look. Oh, I'm sorry if everything's pixelated. I will try very, very hard to be lots of details so that even if it is pixelated, you still can understand by what I'm saying that I am doing it. We always seem to have a little bit of connection issues with internet, or it's an inexact science. Okay. Now we're going to take our opening night embossing powder. Now, opening night is black and glitter and gorgeousness. Look at that. So pretty. And what I want to do is I want to add an edge to my panel here. Just the edge. So remember before we went around the edges with the embossing pad and we went like this and we got lots of like extra ink so that we got all of this kind of like messy, kind of sparkly look. Now we're going to take straight up and down and we're just going to catch the edge of the paper. Just catching the edge. We don't want to get into too much of the top of it. We just want the edge. Just right there. Catch the edge. So now we're going to take, first of all, let's give this a good shake over the garbage can. Oh. Okay. Yeah, live streams are like that. I agree, Alex. Okay. So we just want the edge. See how we're just getting just the wee little bit of the edge? That's what we want. We just want to get the edge. And this might look like, you know, as I do this, it's going to look, you're going to be a little bit like, do we really need to do this? Well, no, but I guarantee you, when I melt it and you see like the beautiful glittery black edge it's going to give our paper, you'll understand why we do it. It's gorgeous. I am very big on little details. Little details are my absolute favorite part of scrapbooking and card making. Adding like just those little, let's finish it up details. I have acquired ants in my scrapbook room today. I'm not quite sure what is going on with that. Occasionally, every so often during the summer, there'll be a day where I have little ants and then they go away because I don't really want them, and I do have ant traps to get rid of them. Okay. So again, if any part of this looks too, like you didn't just get the edge, you got in a little bit and you don't like it, and you want to start over again, just keep a lovely paintbrush handy and you'll be good. Okay, now I'm going to put this up to the camera so you can see. Look at what that black edge did. Just the edge. How cool is that? I love it. It looks amazing. I hope that the light is getting it good and you can just see how it's just the very edge. And it layers right over our red embossing powder without a hitch. But it just adds that lovely border. So then, just as an aside, like when you put it onto our card base, when we're all finished and we put it on our card base, you can see how it's going to go ahead and you're going to have this lovely border around the edge. So cool. Okay, we're not done yet. We're going to do some more embossing. This is why the little kit for tonight has all the embossing powder in it. We are going to play with all the embossing powder techniques. Okay. So now I'm going to take some scissors, and what I want to do is I want to cut the background of my stage away from the curtains and this bottom part of the stage. So we're going to go ahead and just cut this away. We are going to put it back together. We're going to use both parts of this. So don't fret about, Okay. So now we have these two pieces, and it's time for our third embossing powder. This is the Gilded, which is also part of the bundle that is special for tonight. So we're going to take that embossing ink and we're going to ink and emboss just like we were doing before. I'm only putting just a little bit on this edge, but I'm making sure that I'm getting all the way around. So I want to make sure I get into like the little corners and all of that. And some of this might get messy, and that's why we have our little paintbrush to kind of swish the messy away if we don't like it. Hold on. I'm catching up with it. Oh, yes. Oh, Alex, do they ever sell candy? And they sell like the best candy ever. They sell like really, really good, like unique, fun, gummy, fabulous candy. Yep. I love their candy. Okay, so I have the embossing ink. It's on all the way around the edge. The Gilded embossing powder is the third embossing powder that's in the bundle. And so I'm going to go around. Now, because I had to get this embossing powder and I want it around the edge, but I also want to make sure I get all around the edge when I kind of tap this off. We're probably going to definitely have some spots where I'm going to want to go ahead and use that paintbrush, because I don't want this to be a lot. I really just want like the edge. And so I don't want it to be a pretty straight edge. So I'm just going to push the errant embossing powder where I want it to be. Just push it up. So much candy. Oh, you're right, Melissa. That's not a bad idea. Well, I've already done it this way, but I'm going to be back live on Wednesday. So I will make sure to pull out the embossing glaze on Wednesday. That's a fabulous idea. So embossing glaze is in like, it almost looks like a paintbrush type of a bottle. So you can brush it onto sections and then heat emboss it, right? And then you coat it with the embossing powder. But that would work excellent for this inside piece. She is absolutely right. I could have taken that little brush and just brushed it along the edges. We're already here now, but I will pull out that embossing glaze and we will play with it with all these embossing powders on Wednesday. That was a Here's our resident Candy. She has just entered the chat. Yes, we called you, Candy. there's that piece. And then we're going to take this piece, and I bet you know what we're going to do with it. Oh, that would be wonderful. I could give some suggestions for that candy bundle. I think that's a fabulous idea. I have candy here. Now, I've been too busy to actually eat any of it, of course, but I have some lemon lime fruities off to the side that are calling my name. Thank you, Susan. Yes, we are playing with the this is so much embossing powder tonight. The last time I went live, we did so much die cutting, right? This week we're doing so much embossing. It's okay. So we're taking this piece that I also cut. We're going to use both of these pieces. We're going to put our sentiment on this brick background. So I want to make sure that there is no embossing powder there, because then when we stamp our background, our sentiment, we'll have problems. We don't want problems. So earlier today, when I was making my practice card, I accidentally did what I just did, which is not put the embossing powder away before I turned on the heat tool. And I, yes, indeed, blew embossing powder everywhere. Into my coffee, into all of the places. So that's why I was like over here, like, I'm not going to blow the embossing powder. So there's the inside piece with the gold gilded edge and then the layered embossing across the top. Here is the other piece that has the gold gilded on the inside, and then this pretty layered embossing across the middle. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp our sentiment on this part of the card. I'm going to grab my Misty. And then I'm going to catch up on the comments. Now that all of the embossing powder has been dried, I'm just going to go over this one more time with that paintbrush from my stash, just to make sure that I have as smooth a surface as I can possibly have to stamp on. Hold on. I'm time to master heat embossing. Yes, Kate, definitely, absolutely, time to master heat embossing. Yes, Alex is my scrappy bestie. Alex is my sister in Australia. Hello, Miss Heather. I'm so glad you're here. I love Miss Heather. She is my friend. Okay. So this is the stamp set. This is the Marquee Sentiments stamp set that comes in the bundle. I'm also checking my time. We're fabulous on time, so I can chit chat a little bit. This sentiment comes with a bunch of different sayings. It says the musical, congrats, break the leg, now showing, and then it has an entire alphabet, which means you can customize your sentiments. You can add a name, you can add a sentence, you can add whatever you want. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to stamp our own little sentiment. So I'm going to put the little stamps down, and these are small stamps, and they want to stick to my finger, right? The stamp wants to stick to my finger, but the stamp does not stick to the stabby tool. So I'm going to use the stabby tool to push my sentiment my letter exactly where I want it. Get it right in place. And then we're going to get the next little stamp, and we're going to push it over against the first one and line it up with our lovely stabby tool. There we go. And one more over here. Of course you're going to stick now that I said you wouldn't stick, but that's okay. Sticks less than my finger. So I'm going to push that. And then I'm going to, once they're all touching, then we can move them together as a full word and kind of get them centered exactly where I want them. And the little bricks are helping immensely. I'm going to do this one word at a time. Because in my practice card, that's just how I found it to be. I am using Raven Detail ink. I'm going to stamp this a couple times so I get a really nice, crisp, black sentiment. Our stamp sentiment tonight is going to be, you take center stage. So it's pretty long. I chose a pretty long one. And that's why I checked the time before I started stamping to make sure I didn't run myself crazy short, but I didn't. We're good. So I don't need this and I don't want this to be perfectly straight, but I do want it to be pretty straight. Like I want you to be able to read it and know that those letters belong together. And I'm being a little bit, what's that word? Picky? Is it picky? I'm being a perfectionist because I'm trying to stamping all these letters and I keep moving them around with this stabby tool after I said I don't care if they're straight or not, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Stamp this a couple times. Lovely. Look how cute this alphabet is. I think it's so, so cute. Oh, everyone's so quiet. Hopefully you're all quiet because you're going to go shopping and grab these fun products. Oh. Or is it because it is like messed up? Hold on a second. No, it's me. Well, Alex said I'm going to have to order about a month in advance for it to reach me in time for a live. But Alex, these lives are saved, so once you have your order, then you can just come back and you can craft right along with me. It'll be like live all over again. I think Penny's right. Lives are always a little moody. Lives are always a little moody. They have opinions about things and they like to show it. Oh, thank you, Danelle. Good night, Melissa. I think she left a while ago, but I'm just now getting all the chats. Heat embossing was my gateway drug to scrapbooking, Lori says. That's awesome. Oh, Heather said she was in a meeting till now and she apologized. It's okay, Heather. Bye, Melissa. Yes. That's what we don't want, super straight. We want a bit of whimsical. I left my ink sit too long. So sorry. I had to catch up on the chats because apparently I was missing them altogether. They were like lost on the internet and I had to go find them. So how cute. This looks so cute at the, like, wait till you see it all done. Wait till we put it all together. You'll be like, oh, this is the cutest card. I love it. So we only have one E, so we have to kind of, that's why I can't do like all the words all at once. That's okay. So see how we kind of have them, this one centered and, but then they're going to kind of like be justified and kind of hop back and forth. And that's okay because when we're all finished, guess what? We're going to cluster into these little open areas. Yep, they ship internationally. Isn't that fabulous? It's fabulous. Okay. So now we just need stage. Make sure you, Alex, make sure you do an account because if you get an account, then you can collect points every time you order. And after you collected so many points, you can get lots of fun goodies. Okay, stage. Oh, well, Candy, I'm glad that you are home safe and sound. So we can do stage all at once. There we go. And then we have our sentiments. Have I ever steered you wrong, Alex? That's all I'm going to say. So imagine, Alex, these little stamps, you know what they remind me of? If you are someone who's been a scrapbooker for a long time, you probably remember October Afternoons and Mini Market stamps, which were these little blocks stamps. These remind me of those so much, and it's a stamp. So you can make any title you want and you'll never run out of letters. Oh, Heather's the queen. Heather is the queen of spending other people's money. Trust me. Where do you think I learned all my tricks from? Totally Heather. All right. Ta-da. Okay, how cute is that, you guys? So I'm gonna try to like flip it a little bit so you can see all the fun like glitter. And I know it's gonna be laggy and dumb for a minute, but just give it a minute to kind of catch up. Of course you do. I don't. All right. So here is what our panel looks like, just plain. Haven't done anything extra to it. Looks like this. Okay, fine. Let's put it on our card now, but wait. Let's grab Heather's right. She buys everything herself in threes. Let's grab some foam tape. This is the new foam tape that comes in the squares. I also have the easy strips, but I think for today's card, we're going to go with the squares. And I am not 100% sure if these are in stock or not. I should have checked before I went live. Because I'm about to use a bunch of them. Oh, thank you, Candy. So I am making sure. I am kind of crazy about foam tape. I want it to go everywhere. But I am especially going all around these little edges. And this is why I chose the quote squares instead of the easy strips, because this section up here was not wide enough. So then I would have had to cut the easy strips. Right. Candy said, if they're not in stock now, they will be soon. Yeah, that's what I figured. I was pretty sure that even if they are out of stock right now, they won't be out of stock forever. I am adding a lot of foam tape here because I really want this card to be nice and stable. I don't want it to, because we're dealing with a slimline size, it's really easy to end up with a card that can sag just because of the dimensions that we're using. And not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but I don't like saggy cards, so I'm using a lot of foam tape. I'm going to prep for taking off all of the backing paper here, and I'm going to open my card base up so that it, when I take this and put it down, it will not try to pop open on me or otherwise mess with my ability to get this on straight. Are they 8-inch thickness? So they're this thick. I think they're one millimeter? They're not like they're nice. They're too, you'd have to double or triple them up, I think, to make like a shaker. So they just give a little lift. But I'm pretty sure they're 1 mil. And yes, they do have backing. In fact, they have backing. So they have backing on the front and on the back, which means you can cut them and they don't stick to your scissors. So that's pretty cool. And they come in these little squares. And they also come in these strips, which are fabulous. These are the easy strips. They're a little bit bigger. That big. And they're huge. The rolls are gigantic. So gigantic. Okay, back to release paper. Susan, it will work itself out. There isn't much I can do about it because it is just from being live on YouTube. Unfortunately, yeah, it's the stream. So that's why I said I'm trying to give you guys as much like verbal talking information as I can so that if it gets fuzzy, you still can know what we are doing. Right now, I'm just taking off release paper. Perfect. Oh, Alex, wait till you see the candy. Oh, the candy is so good. It's like the best candy ever. Here we go. This is very tedious, but you guys, it's so worth it. Wait till you see. It is so worth it. All these little squares, me pulling them all up, totally worth it. And look, we're done already. Ta-da! Okay. So we're going to start over here. I'm going to have to pull this up a bunch of times because I'm going to be crazy about it being perfect. I'm probably going to get my fuzzy head in here. Unfortunately, that's just part of getting this right on and as equal on all sides as I possibly can. There we go. Okay. Now, yeah, it doesn't take long. Yeah, but totally worth it, I promise. All right, let's, you know what? I'm not going to use my tape runner. I'm going to grab my wet glue. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and grab my wet glue is because I want to make sure that when I put this in here, I have a little bit of time to go. Our stage is a stage and it's coming up to you. And that's why we cut it in half. Oh, I see it's fuzzy. Hold on a second. I'm going to wait for it to not be fuzzy. And I'm just going to give everything a little brush off with the paintbrush just to, because it still feels like powdery. It doesn't need to feel powdery. Okay. There we go. So see how we have it's a little bit popped up. It has that kind of whimsical, it looks almost like somebody took some spray paint and painted our little sentiments on that brick wall in the back. And see what a difference just that little bit of black around the edge, how it just finishes the edge of that off. So lovely. So let's add some gems now. Remember I said we're going to add some fun things in here? We're going to add some gems. So these are the hematite flat back crystals. Crystals come in a bundle and they have every color you could possibly need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to accent, drop a little bit of wet glue here. We're going to add some, oh, that was the wrong lid. I'm going to add some gems here with my stabby tool, of course, but we're going to use the other side of the stabby tool. This one. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alex and Heather and Lori. We're just going to add some sparkle. These black gems, it's really hard to tell which is the top side because they're black. Which is the top side and which is the bottom side. So I'm used to just like sticking and plunking them down, and it's not quite working with these. I'm going to have to be a little more careful because I've now almost put 2 of them on upside down. And there we go. My glue will dry completely clear, so you'll never be able to see them. So if you see a little smudgy glue when I pick them up, pick it up and show you close up. It'll dry clear. Okay, so there is our finished card for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I love how this turned out. I'm just noticing now that we got these little lights perfect so that they're pointing. I didn't cover them all up with embossing powder so you can see them. So they're pointing right to the center of our card. How cute is that? Okay. I will be back on Wednesday for another live this week, and just for this week, not after. Candy will be back with you next week, just this week, and then I'm going to use the same bundle, so the same night out bundle. We're going to play some more with it, and we're going to do another card, so that if you pick the bundle up, then you will be able to come back to the Brutus Monroe channel and have 2 step-by-step directions, instructions, and card ideas that you can work with all of these fun products too. Yes, Christopher will be live tomorrow night with the new products. If you haven't seen those, they are amazing. You guys are so welcome. I'm so glad you all joined me tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. And I will talk to you or see you again very, very soon. Bye, everyone.